Hi, I'm Josh, your American English guide, and welcome to another listening analysis lesson. We're going to be breaking this into two parts. First will be a listening dictation where you write what you hear. If you would like to skip this part, there is a timestamp in the description that will allow you to jump straight to the analysis. For the listening dictation, you will have 3 chances to write what you hear. And if you still do not have the answer after the 3rd try, then I will say it one more time, just a little bit more slowly to give you one last chance. Ready? Where'd he get it? Where'd he get it? Where'd he get it? Okay, one more time, a little slower. Where'd he get it? Let's see what the answer is. Where'd he get it? Now, this apostrophe D is not had, like you might think. It's actually did. Where did he get it? So yes, in spoken English, we can contract the WH question word where with did and say where'd. Of course, we don't normally write this, but informally, you can. Let's take a closer look at some of these details. I want you to find how many syllables are in each word. I will give you a moment to pause the video if you want. So the word where, 1 syllable. Might seem kind of like 2, but it's 1. With that apostrophe D, it's still 1 syllable. Where'd. The second word, he, 1 syllable. Get, also 1 syllable. And of course, it, just 1 syllable. So all 4 of these words are 1 syllable. Now let's see which words are stressed. Again, pause the video if you want. So we have 4 words. He and it are pronouns. They are function words, so they are not stressed, normally at least. So that leaves us where'd and get. So the easy part here is get is a verb. So of course it is a content word, and a 1 syllable content word is always stressed. Now for the word where, or in this case where'd with the apostrophe D, that is actually also going to be stressed. The did would normally not be stressed, but the where is, because it's a WH question word. Where'd he get it? Where'd he get it? Which of these 4 words is the super stress, the focus word that gets the most emphasis normally? That would be the verb get, because it is about him getting something. If we were to move it to where'd, it would sound like this. Where'd he get it? Where'd he get it? Or some other variation depending on the exact context. But if we say this normally, where'd he get it? You might not be able to hear it, which is okay. That's fine. It takes some time and some practice. And of course, what is the intonation at the end of the sentence? Do we go up with like a question tone, or do we go down like it's the end of a normal statement? Well, remember, for WH questions, we actually go down because we're just trying to fill in that missing information with where, or whatever the WH word is. And so we don't go up with a question tone like we do yes or no questions. We go down at the end. Where'd he get it? Let's move on to the basic sounds. I will give you a moment to pause the video if you want. First word, we have where'd. And we're going to include that apostrophe D at the end there. So we have many letters here. We're going to start with the W, the W consonant sound. We're going to move to air, which could either be the 3rd vowel R colored or the diphthong A R colored. Where. I personally recommend the 3rd vowel R colored, but it doesn't matter. After that, we have the D sound. This would normally be what we call a glottal stop. We're not going to worry too much about the details about that in this lesson, but if we look at the whole word, we have 3 sounds. W, air, d, or as a glottal stop. Whered, whered. Next word, he. So we have the H sound and we have the E sound. Now that E vowel, that's the first vowel sound on the vowel chart. The H is going to be in that same position or very close to it when we start the H sound. The H is just air. So it's going to sound kind of like a voiceless E. Right? And then E. So you don't move your mouth, you just go he. After that, we have get. Now, if your ears are pretty good, you'll notice that I'm not saying get with the third vowel. I'm saying get with the second vowel sound, like in the word it. This is because the verb get is very commonly reduced to the second vowel sound I. So we start with g in the back here, k, g. It's the voiced g. We're going to open into I, ge, ge. And then we have a T at the end, which you could pronounce get, but just like the D at the end of weird, this is normally, if there's no connection, it would normally be a glottal stop T. Get, get. We hear that cutoff, that's the glottal stop. Lastly, of course, we have the word it, which is going to be pronounced exactly like get, but with just the two sounds. There's no g in front of it. It. Or if you fully pronounce it, to make it clear or to emphasize, it, which we don't normally do. Now lastly, let's take a look at the connections or linking between all these words. So again, pause the video if you want. So we have weird and he. So that D sound, how does it flow over into the word he? Does it stay a glottal stop? Do we say where'd he? Where'd he? Well, that's kind of harder to say, right? We have to stop for a second and then push out the word. We generally like to try to flow as easily as possible. So remember, the H sound is just air, and if there's a connection possible to the vowel after it, what will usually happen is that connection will go ahead and go through the H. It doesn't have to, but it will commonly do so. Where D, where D. Now this D actually turns into more of a flapped or tapped D. Again, we'll talk about that in other lessons. And of course, we know that this works because consonants always connect to vowels between words. We just have that H that is disappearing in this case because it's just air. Next, we're going from E to get. So E is a vowel, and we're going to the consonant sound G, G in the back. So E-G, E-G. But as we push out the G, we can kind of hear a bit of a break between these two words. He, get. I would not say that there's anything special there, and there's no connection. Okay, we just hear the E, we hear the G, and as we know, aside from the very special exception cases, vowels do not connect to consonant sounds. Next we have get to it. What happens here? We know consonants connect to vowels, so T is a consonant, E, the second vowel, that letter I, is a vowel. So they should connect, right? So we'll say get it, get it. Not in American English. In British English, I believe so. In American English, when a T connects over to a vowel like this, it will become a flapped or tapped D, just like the D in where'd when it connects to E. Where'd get it? Where'd get it? And of course, we have that glottal stop T at the end of it. A very special thanks to our Patreon supporters. Make sure you don't miss more listening analysis lessons, as well as the full American English pronunciation and ear training course. Thank you so much for watching another English Hacks lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one.